What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to 365 Analytics. And today we have an insurmountable video on the channel. Football is back tonight, where the Dallas Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles in the opening game of the 2025 NFL season. And I am so excited. We are officially back, ladies and gentlemen. And with week one coming around, you know what that means? Week one picks. We're going to be doing our week one pick'ems and power rankings today to start our first pick show of the year. We will be doing one of these all 18 weeks, just as we did last season. Very similar format, very similar. It will all be pretty much identical, just with a little bit of a new twist for the 2025 season. I don't want to yap too much. The only thing I do want to say is I originally was going to record this video last night. Kind of felt drained after I recorded the season predictions. The entire predictions came out for the NFL season. Video, honestly, wasn't a fan of it. Kind of felt rushed. It was late at night. Didn't have the motivation, but I promised to get that predictions video yesterday, so I had to get it out. But we are back with rejuvenated energy and a rejuvenated mindset to take on the week one picks today. Normally, I'm going to record these on Wednesdays, but today we're recording it on game day, on opening day, and making all 16 matchups and making our picks for all of them. Before I start this up, if you guys do enjoy, please like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications if you enjoy. And without further ado, let's start it off with the game that takes place this very night. Got the Burrow jersey on today. Thursday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles to open the 2025 NFL season. NFC East matchup, Dallas Cowboys, high-powered passing offense. Philadelphia Eagles, defending Super Bowl champions, banner night in Philadelphia. Chris Collinsworth, Mike Tirico on the call for NBC. Nick Sirianni said that the Eagles won't even be out there for the banner reveal as they are focused on this season. NFC East matchup, two bitter rivals. These teams will always play close no matter how good they are at certain points. I think it's week one. Teams are learning each other. There's no film this season on each other yet. I don't think Dallas will absolutely get blown out of the water, but I think it will be a pretty commanding Philadelphia Eagles win. Start the season 1-0 on banner night and defend their title to start the season 1-0. So I think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to end up taking it and starting the season 1-0 in a pretty closely contested matchup with the Cowboys. The Cowboys will score some points, but the Eagles will just score a little bit more. I think they'll play a little bit better defense, and the Eagles, in the end, will get the win. Next up, we have an international game tomorrow night. It is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers, another division matchup in the fold. This game is in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Everybody knows that Kansas City lost the Super Bowl last year to Philadelphia. They are coming back, starting the season in Brazil versus a division rival in the Los Angeles Chargers, who lost in the wild card round last year. Justin Herbert coming for revenge. The Chiefs, expectations are still high for them. They're still going to be a force to be reckoned with. They have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. Travis Kelce's still there probably for one last dance. They have Xavier Worthy still now, back for year two. Rashee Rice is suspended, but he's still on the team. Steve Spagnuolo's still there. Andy Reid is still considered the best head coach in the National Football League by a wide margin. But AFC West matchup, these two teams play close a lot. Every time that these two teams step on the field together, they play a closely contested game. It's a heated rivalry again, like Cowboys Eagles. But in the end, I'm gonna say it's a close win, closer than Dallas and Philly, I'd say. I'll put that out there. I think this game might be a little bit closer than the Cowboys Eagles game. It is technically a Chargers home game, even though it's in Brazil. I am going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to also start the season 1-0 and take down the Chargers in week one. I think that Rashawn Slater being lost for the season for the Chargers will be a huge loss when it comes down to it. He's one of the best tackles in the National Football League, and I think the Chiefs will start the season 1-0 in Brazil. And then we go to the Sunday slate. We have 8 games, 1 p.m., 4 games, 4 o'clock. Scott Hanson is back on Sunday. My sweet prince, Scott Hanson. We are almost back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited for this weekend. I can't believe I'm setting fantasy lineups and making football predictions at this point. But we have an NFC South matchup, a pretty good game, matter of fact. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons, this one being in Atlanta. The Buccaneers being your defending AFC South champions. Baker Mayfield had a great season last season, 40 plus touchdowns, was near the top of the league in yards, near the top of the league in touchdowns, had a great season, absolute gunslinger at quarterback, fun to watch. And the Buccaneers, high powered offense, Todd Bowles, a head coach, they are still going to be a good team. They go to Atlanta, who Atlanta actually swept Tampa Bay last season. They beat them in both games despite Tampa Bay winning the division. I believe it was Kirk Cousins in both of those games. Michael Penix Jr. now starting his first year as the official guy in command in Atlanta. And they have a home opener here. I think this will be a little bit of a slobber knocker game. I think it will be a grinded out game. I think Penix will make mistakes. But in the end, at home, week one, Raheem Morris, a big year for his job security. Second year quarterback starting. Give me the Atlanta Falcons to start the season 1-0 at home and get the win over the Buccaneers, who this would be, if this actually happened, this would be three straight wins in a row for the Falcons over the Buccaneers. So I'm taking Atlanta. I'm not saying I think Atlanta's going to win the division, but I think in week one at home, the momentum's there for them to snatch the win. So give me the Falcons. And then the game I'm most excited for personally, for obvious reasons, it is the Cincinnati Bengals are back on the field, going to Cleveland to take on Huntington Big Field to take on the Cleveland Browns. Battle of Ohio, week one, divisional game. Everybody knows who I'm picking in this game. I'll get it out of the way quick. I'm picking the Bengals. Everybody knows about the slow starts the Bengals have suffered in the last few years. That's true. They started 0-2, I think 3 straight years now. They started 0-3 last season. They have not been able to kick the tires of the slow starts this year. The NFL has gift wrapped you a start that you should be able to capitalize on. In my opinion, the Cleveland Browns, they are a division rival. They will never be an easy out. Joe Flacco is a feisty quarterback. I don't think he's going to be horrible. I think the Browns will get there. I think the Browns will score some points. But in the end, I think the Bengals offense has to come ready to play. Burrow and the guys have to come ready to play in week one, and they haven't in years past. I mean, Burrow has not been good in week one the past few years. That's just the bottom line. He hasn't. He wasn't last year against New England. He didn't do anything special. I think he threw 0 touchdowns, 0 picks last season against New England, and the Patriots upset him in week one. Do not let this happen. You have the opportunity to go on the road, week one, Battle of Ohio, beat a division rival on the road in week one to start 1-0. They better not lose track of this situation. They better capitalize on it. If the Bengals do not win this game, we are already going to be having conversations about Zach Taylor's job security in week one. The Bengals absolutely have to win the game. All the pressure is on them. There's absolutely zero pressure on Joe Flacco and the Browns. And I am taking the Bengals start 1-0 and go back home next week versus the Jaguars, start 1-0. So give me the Bengals. I don't know why that color orange. It looks like that. It's usually a little bit darker, but that's besides the point. Next up, another 1 p.m. game on Sunday. It is the Miami Dolphins AFC matchup, Miami Dolphins and Indianapolis Colts. This game is in Indy. The Dolphins, big year for Mike McDaniel, let me tell you that. It could be a make or break year for his job. The Dolphins will still have a high-powered offense. Tua is still there, Devon Achane, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle potentially having a bounce back year a little bit. The Dolphins still have a lot of firepower on offense. I don't think it's being talked about enough, but the defense does have some issues. That's just it's just the facts. Their cornerback room is decimated. I believe Rasul Douglas, who they picked up off the street, former Buffalo Bill and Green Bay Packer. They picked him up like a week or two ago. I believe he's cornerback one. Kader Kohu got lost for the season. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey was traded, and the cornerback room was just decimated. I believe Jack Jones there too, actually. And for the Colts side of things, Daniel Jones, Shane Steichen opted with to be the starter for the season, at least in week one. I'm not a Daniel Jones believer. I love the Tyler Warren pick in the first round. I think Tyler Warren's going to be a great tight end in the NFL. I just do not believe in Daniel Jones getting the ball to his tight ends. I don't believe in Daniel Jones as a good quarterback. I think Shane Steichen will be fired after the season. I don't know if I've said that on record on this channel yet, but I think Shane Steichen will be fired. Somehow the Indianapolis Colts are favored in this game. I don't know how. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting my money on the Miami Dolphins here. I do not think they're going to lose track of the situation. I think the Dolphins will capitalize on it. I think they'll win the game. And I think they're just a flat out better team than the Indianapolis Colts this year. I am not a fan of Steichen. I am not a fan of Daniel Jones. I was a little bit of a fan of the Blue Anarumo hire. I still think he can coach defenses despite how his Bengals tenure ended. But give me the Dolphins start the season 1-0 in Indianapolis. Next up, a little matchup, a little interesting one. Battle of the Cats here, I guess. It is the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Carolina, they kind of caught fire at the end of last season. Bryce Young started playing some better football. I mean, they started scoring points. They were competitive in games, and they kind of went into 2025 with some momentum, so to speak. The Jaguars, they start the season at home. Trevor Lawrence was injured last season. He is back healthy. New head coach in the fold with Liam Cohen. Travis Hunter's here. Who knows how much he plays on both sides of the ball? They have him listed as, I believe, the number one cornerback and number two wide receiver behind Brian Thomas Jr. Let's see how much he plays on both sides. I am personally still skeptical that he can play both sides of the ball consistently. I still think he'll play both sides of the ball, but I don't think he'll play consistent snaps on both sides of the ball. This is a sneaky good game. I could see either team winning this. I think Carolina's offense will take a step forward this year. I think they'll be decent. They brought Ted McMillan in, obviously from the draft, number 8 overall pick. Adam Thielen is now a Viking. Xavier Legette, I believe Xavier Legette's banged up, but I think he's gonna play, but I think he's banged up. Jalen Coker just went to IR. He kind of showed some flashes last season, undrafted rookie last season from Holy Cross. But the Jags at home here. I trust Trevor Lawrence for a bounce back year. I still believe in Trevor Lawrence, even though he hasn't quite lived up to his Clemson status. He was being compared to Peyton Manning for crying out loud. If you saw my predictions video yesterday, you know I'm high on the Jaguars. I predicted them to be the 7th seed in the AFC. I like the Liam Cohen hire. I thought he was great for Tampa Bay. Even the Jaguars start the season 1-0. I don't think they'll be. I mean, I think it'll take time for both of these teams. I don't think Carolina will be a horrible team in the end. I should probably go that blue right there. I don't think Carolina will be a horrible team in the end, but I think week one, home opener for the Jaguars. Give me the Jaguars to win the game. And then a little bit of a sneaky game. This could be a good one. This could be a good one, no? Raiders Patriots. You have Pete Carroll debut of the Raiders, or his debut as Raiders head coach. You have Geno Smith's Raiders debut going into another debut head coach for the Patriots in Mike Vrabel. This game's in Gillette Stadium. A lot of people are high on the Patriots this year. I guess I'm decently high on them. I mean, I think they're going to be 8, 9 win teams, 7 to 10 win teams, somewhere around there. I don't think they'll be exceptional. I think Drake May will show flashes. I like the additions they brought in. I thought Stephon Diggs was a good addition. I mean, they got the guy Kyle Williams in the draft. They have undrafted free agent Efton Chisholm. The defense is still good. The good cornerback duo, Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis now. I mean, I think they have a decent roster. I do. But the question is, who do I trust more week one? Pete Carroll, the dude doesn't age. He still has energy through the roof. The Raiders, I think, will have a decent offense. Geno Smith, I think, is a middle of the pack quarterback. I'm not as high on him as other people are, but I think Ashton Jeanty, I think he's winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. I've said that in my awards predictions video. I think he's gonna have a great season. Who's the rookie receiver they have? Dante Moore, is it? He caught a nice touchdown in the preseason game. He's showed flashes. Jacoby Myers did request a trade, but he's still there, one of the more underrated players in the league. I am actually going to take the Las Vegas Raiders here. This might be a little bit of a surprise going into Gillette Stadium week one, but I believe in what Pete Carroll's building right now, at least. And I think they'll have the upper hand early in the year. I trust the veteran head coach more. I trust the veteran quarterback over the young quarterback. Not to say I think New England will have a bad season, but I think the Raiders just capitalize on week one. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals traveling to the Superdome to take on the Saints. I don't really have much to say about this one. I'm taking the Cardinals here. I believe Jonathan Gannon, again, if you saw my awards predictions video, I think he's coach of the year this year. I think the Cardinals will be a decent team. I think they'll have a decent offense. I think Kyler Murray will have a little bit of a bounce back year. I think James Conner is a good running back. I think Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he's so due for a breakout. Trey McBride's a really good tight end. The defense improved, brought in Josh Sweat, rookie Walter Nolan, who's not going to play in this game, but I think he'll be a great player. Good pass rushing interior defensive line, 3 tech at Ole Miss. And I'm just not a believer in the Saints. I think they'll be a really bad team this year, one of the worst in football. I think Kellen Moore will be one and done. I think Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck will both end up playing a good amount. I did not like them making the decision to start Spencer Rattler, to be honest with you. I didn't. I think Tyler Shuck out of Louisville, second round pick. You spent a pretty premium draft pick on him. I think he's already 24, 25 years old. He's already an older player coming out of the draft. By the time his rookie contract's up, he'll be 29, I believe. So I do not understand this decision to start Spencer Rattler. But give me the Cardinals to start 1-0 in a pretty easy game, straightforward. I think they'll win by 2 scores. Let me say that. Give me the Cardinals to win. Next up, we have a little bit of a sneaky one, all right? A little bit of a sneaky one. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers, now Aaron Rodgers led Pittsburgh Steelers at the New York Jets. The Steelers, as I said, Aaron Rodgers now in the fold along with DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, TJ Watt is newly paid. Cam Hayward wants to be newly paid, but he's going to play. Going to the Jets with a total new resume. Aaron Glenn is your new head coach in East Rutherford. Aaron Rodgers returning to play his old team. Aaron Glenn straight up told Aaron Rodgers, "We do not want you to be the quarterback anymore." I think Pittsburgh is the better team here. New York Jets just announced today that they lost Elijah Vera Tucker, their decent offensive guard. Not an all-star, but it's a big loss. Torn triceps. He's almost for sure done for the year. Before the year even started. Give me the Steelers here. I think they're the better football team. I trust Tomlin in year one. I think the Jets are going in the right direction. I didn't hate the Aaron Glenn hire. I didn't love it, so to speak, but I didn't hate the Aaron Glenn hire whatsoever. I think they're going in the right direction. I do not believe in Justin Fields. I've said that a million times on the channel. Since he came out of the draft, since he was at Ohio State, I was a Justin Fields hater. Then he got drafted to Chicago, made it even worse. I think Justin Fields is going to be one and done in with the Jets, but should be interesting. Justin Fields playing his old team, the Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers going back to East Rutherford. So that should be an interesting game, but give me Pittsburgh to get the win there. And then we have an NFC East matchup in week one. It is the Russell Wilson led New York Giants versus Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. All right, listen to me when I say this. I think this will be a close game. It might sound crazy based on how the Commanders were last year. I don't know if it's just all in my head. I don't know if I'm hearing and seeing things. I don't know what's going on. I feel like every single time the Giants and Commanders play against each other, it is a close contested game. It feels like the two teams know each other. Brian Daboll, Dan Quinn. I'm still gonna pick the Commanders. They're obviously an NFC Championship team last year. They didn't win it against Philly, evidently, but they had a great rookie year. Jaden Daniels, one of the best rookie quarterback seasons of all time, at home opener. I think they're gonna win the game. That's the bottom line. But do not be surprised if the Giants keep it close. I'm telling you. I could be crazy. I could look crazy for saying that. Washington wins 30-14, and we go into next week's episode. I look crazy for saying that. I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Giants pass rush will get to Jaden Daniels a decent amount. I think Abdul Carter will get his first career sack in week one. I'm putting that on record right now. I think Brian Burns will get his. I think Dexter Lawrence will get his. I think the Giants pass rush will be able to do enough to keep the game close. I think Russell Wilson will be decent. I don't think he'll play the entire season. Evidently, Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson will have a stinker, and Jackson Dart will end up stepping in at one point. There's not really. That's just going to happen. But give me Washington to start week one, 1-0, but I think the game will be close. Closer than people expect. Okay, and we start the 4 o'clock window. Sunday, 4:05 EST. It is the Tennessee Titans versus the Denver Broncos. Cam Ward's NFL debut. The game is supposed to be rainy, I believe. It's supposed to be some inclement weather. Going to Denver. Cam Ward, I'm sorry. I believe in Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. But you're going on the road to play a Sean Payton team week one home opener versus the best defense in the National Football League. There's just zero chance. There's just zero chance. Rookie quarterback. Brian Callahan, I mean, I just don't like Brian Callahan as head coach. He was a former Bengals offensive coordinator. I wasn't even a fan of him when he was with the Bengals. I was happy the Titans hired him. I think he's going to be done after the year. I think Cam Ward will end up being good. I think he'll show flashes in year one. But a rookie quarterback, inclement weather, going to Mile High Stadium or Empower Field, whatever it is, week one, best defense in the league. Nick Benito just got a new extension today, a couple hours ago when I'm recording this, but give me the Broncos, no doubt about it. There's just not more to say. I think Tennessee will be competitive in some games this year. Not this one. Denver wins. They start 1-0. And then we have an NFC West matchup. It is the San Francisco 49ers going to Lumen Field to take on the Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers, Christian McCaffrey's back. George Kittle's still there. The receiver room is a little banged up. Brandon Ayuk not expected to be ready until mid-season. Jawan Jennings just got a contract revised. He will be playing in this game. Ricky Pearsall going into year two, the 2024 first round pick out of Florida. So the receiver room is a little bit banged up, but Christian McCaffrey's still there. I think Christian McCaffrey's going to win the comeback player of the year. I think it's going to be a rebound year for him. I think he's going to play well. I think he's going to score a touchdown in this game. I am betting him an anytime touchdown this weekend. And I think it's going to go along with the 49ers win. I do not believe in Sam Darnold. He will be making Seahawks debut here at home. I do not think he's going to shine outside of the Kevin O'Connell system. They did pick up JSN. They did pick up Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp, does he still have some left in the tank? I think he does. It's not 2021 anymore, but I still think Cooper Kupp has something left. I just think the 49ers are going to be better this year, and I think they're going to win the game week one. I think Shanahan and the boys will come ready, nice and healthy, ready to go, and win the game. Next up, we have one of the games of the weekend, probably overall the second best game of the weekend, I'd say. Your premier game of the weekend is probably Sunday Night Football, but one of the best games of the weekend. It is the Detroit Lions going to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. Detroit, the main story. They lost both coordinators this offseason. Ben Johnson in Chicago, Aaron Glenn in New York. I still think the offense will be good. I like the Kelvin Shepard hire. Kelvin Shepard, former Lions linebacker coach. I think that he will be a good defensive coordinator hire. I thought that he was a good candidate for any team during the cycle. The Lions have a high-powered offense. Jared Goff, still a solid quarterback. Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best receivers in the league. Isaac TeSlaa in the full. Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. Very good offensive line. They did lose some pieces, but it's still a very good offensive line. Frank Ragnow's in retirement now, but they still have one of the best linemen overall in the league in Penei Sewell. Green Bay, home opener. Jordan Love. And the big story, that the big thing I'm watching for, at least me. Micah Parsons. Traded just about a week ago now, I think exactly a week ago actually, to the Packers from the Cowboys. New, freshly paid, highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League, making his debut with the green and gold here. Or he's expected to play. He said he's gonna probably take some injections for him to play, but he's expected to play. I trust Dan Campbell. I like Matt LaFleur. But I trust Dan Campbell more in week one. I am picking the Lions. I think he'll have his men ready. I think the Lions are not going anywhere. I think Dan Campbell is still building an absolute unit in Detroit, and I still think they will be a top team in the National Football Conference, I should say. Um, in the NFC, I think they'll be one of the best teams in the NFC still, despite losing both coordinators. I think Dan Campbell will have the boys ready, and I think they will beat the Packers in Lambeau Field week one, in a game that a lot of people might think the Packers are going to win. So, yeah, not a huge upset, but a division game, closely contested. Detroit ends up pulling away at the end. Next up, we have another bit of a sneaky game. Not one that not many people are talking about, but two decent teams from each conference. We have the Houston Texans and the Los Angeles Rams. Houston, it's an off-season of wonder, so to speak. CJ Stroud had a little bit of a sophomore slump last year. He's going into year three after the great rookie year he had. Already CJ Stroud going into year three. Crazy to say. Joe Mixon will not play the first 4 weeks at least, and they are skeptical of him playing at all this season. Suffered a foot injury in the offseason, non-football injury, I believe, and he will not be ready. So it's Woody Marks and Nick Chubb's season in Houston. Nico Collins is still there. They believe in rookie Jaden Higgins. They picked up Christian Kirk in the offseason. The offensive line is still a big question mark. Cam Robinson's there. I believe Titus Howard's there now. It's a question mark, the offensive line. That's the bottom line. The Rams. Home game in SoFi Stadium. Matthew Stafford dealt with some injuries in the offseason, but he's going to be ready to go for week one. There's no doubt about him playing in this game. Sean McVay announced he will start. And yeah, He's healthy. Two teams I think will be decent this year. I think there'll be some decent football teams. I don't think either of these teams will be necessarily bad. I don't think either of these teams will be really Super Bowl contenders, but I think they'll both be decent teams. They'll both score a good amount of points in this game. I think both these teams will exceed 20 points in this game. But I'm gonna pick the home team in the end. I'm gonna pick Sean McVay. I'm gonna take Matthew Stafford, the veteran. Give me the Rams to get the win in this game and start the season 1-0. In NFC West, it's a weird division this year. I could see really any of the four teams winning it. I like the Cardinals this year. I think the 49ers will have a little bit of a bounce back here. I think the Rams, I believe in them with Stafford and McVay. And then you have the Seahawks, who I really like Mike McDonald. So yeah, give me the Rams. Sunday night football. Cue the Carrie Underwood intro. Two AFC Titans, two of the three very best teams in the AFC, along with the Kansas City Chiefs, if you ask me, and a lot of other people. It is the Baltimore Ravens, led by two-time MVP Lamar Jackson, traveling to Highmark Stadium to take on the reigning MVP Josh Allen. This will be a good football game, folks. Rematch in the divisional round last year. Obviously, Mark Andrews dropped the 2-point conversion, which would have won the Baltimore Ravens. Not won, but would have tied the game for the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens' season last year ends in heartbreak again. And they return to the very place where it happened. Buffalo, Josh Allen, reigning MVP, Sean McDermott. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Both these teams will be very exceptional this year. Who do I trust more week one at home? I trust Josh Allen. Give me the Bills to end up winning this game. I think both these teams will be in the long run. I would not be surprised at all. I believe I had in the predictions yesterday. Actually, I would be zero amount to the T. Be surprised if these two teams met in January again, and I think they will. Lamar Allen. This is exceptional football we're going to see on Sunday night, and this will be a great game. It should be exciting. Baltimore won the Sunday Night Football game last year in a landslide, and then Buffalo ended up winning in the playoffs. They rematch week one on Sunday Night Football. Should be a fun game. Game of the weekend, one of the very best games of the season. So, it should be a fun start to the year on Sunday night. And to cap off the picks, Monday Night Football. It's an NFC North matchup. J.J. McCarthy's Minnesota Vikings debut going to Chicago to take on the Bears. Minnesota. I am a Kevin O'Connell fan. I think he could put me at quarterback and they'd be able to succeed. Aaron Jones is still there. Jordan Mason in the fold in the running back room. Added Ryan Kelly and Will Fries on the offensive line. TJ Hawkinson's still there. Jefferson's there. Addison is suspended, but he is still there. Adam Thielen is back in Minnesota. I think they're going to be a good football team. And I don't think enough people are talking about him because of the JJ McCarthy factor. I think he will play decent football. I think he'll be not maybe not at he won't put up the numbers that Darnold did, but I think he'll be very efficient and maybe just as efficient as Darnold was. And then the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson is your new head coach there. Revamped offensive line. Joe Tooney's brought in. Jonah Jackson's brought in. Drew Dahlman brought in. Darnell Wright, year two. Or is it year two or year three of Darnell Wright now? I think it might be year three of Darnell Wright. But a revamped offense. Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Romo Dunze in year two now. They have guys. They have guys, man. But this game is in Chicago. I think experience will come into play here. And I think the Vikings will be a better team this year. I think they'll end up getting the win in week one. And I think JJ McCarthy will play a decent game in his first career start. And the Vikings will cap off week one with a win on prime time in Chicago to put a stamp in Ben Johnson's coaching debut. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a fun game. But I think Minnesota will evidently win in the end. And my lock of the week, give me Denver over the Titans. I think that's my lock. I can't see a world where Denver loses the game. And my upset, it's hard to pick upsets in week one. There's not really any insurmountable upsets in week one that you can pick because point spreads are so close because teams are just you really don't know who teams are yet. But Las Vegas over New England really is my biggest upset. The sportsbooks really like New England because Vegas on the road week one. They're not a big believer in the Raiders, so technically that is my upset of the week. So there you go. There's no record. There's no record at all. There's no lock record or anything like that because we are in week one, but there are your week one picks. To recap, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Miami, Jacksonville, Vegas, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Washington, Denver, San Francisco, Detroit, the Rams, Buffalo, and Minnesota. One last look at it. There it is. And now we will get right into my pre-week one power rankings and show you where I think teams stand overall among NFL circles going to the week. And here are my power rankings going into the week. Obviously, everything last week is NA because we just started. We just started this thing and it's only starting tonight. We have 200, it's 272, 256, something like that. That's how many games are in the National Football League season. But Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Washington, Detroit, that top six was pretty easy to me. Last season's playoff teams, they're widely considered the best among NFL circles in this ranking, just to clarify, it's not really what I think specifically. It's just kind of NFL circles, the narrative and opinion on them around everybody, fans, media, and how everybody thinks they're going to do. Green Bay I put all the way up at seven, for instance, because the Micah Parsons deal. People are calling them Super Bowl contenders now. A lot of people like them. Rams, Vikings, Bengals. I put them one spot above Denver because a lot of people are high on Joe Burrow. A lot of people are high on the Bengals. Broncos, Buccaneers, Texans, Chargers, Steelers, middle of the pack where they always have been. Aaron Rodgers, 49ers, Bears, Cowboys, Seahawks, Cardinals. I think the Cardinals will be higher at the end of the year. Like, that's my opinion. I think the Cardinals will be a decent team this year, but most people probably have all these teams above the Cardinals in like their prediction and opinion of them going into the year. New England, Atlanta, Miami, Jacksonville, Las Vegas. And once you get past 25 with the Raiders here, honestly, these are pretty much your bottom of the barrel right here, like pretty much. Colts, Panthers, Jets, Titans, Giants, Browns, Saints. Most people think the Saints and the Browns are clearly without a shadow of a doubt, and I agree, the two worst teams in the league this year. I don't think there's really much of a debate. I don't trust Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck, and I don't trust the Browns QB room. I think Myles Garrett is pretty much the one bright spot on that team. I think they have some decent corners, but Martin Emerson's out for the year. I think the offense is pretty weak outside of Jerry Jeudy. So those are your two worst teams in the league. But those are your power rankings. I'll scroll through them slowly. NFC West is pretty tight here. Besides the Rams, they're a little far ahead of everybody else because they pretty much they gave the Eagles their toughest test of the playoffs last season. So they deserve to be a little high there. Um, but 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals pretty close together. I mean, the power rankings are pretty much a crapshoot in week one because you don't really know who teams are. You don't know what they did last week. You don't know what they did 3 weeks ago. You don't know what they did a month ago. So you don't know who teams are until you start playing some games. I've always said it. You don't know truly who a team is until you get past Thanksgiving. Once you get past Thanksgiving, that's when you know who your Super Bowl contenders are, your playoff teams are, your bottom of the barrel are. That's when you start sorting tiers. It's pretty much a crapshoot for the first like 2 months of the year, I'd say. So yeah, we are back. We are back. That is your week one picks and power rankings. I'm gonna go whip up this thumbnail real quick and get this video out for like 2 o'clock, 2:30, somewhere around there. But I'm excited for the game tonight. We have Cowboys, Eagles, Chiefs, Chargers tomorrow. We have college football all day Saturday. I'll be back Tuesday with the 365 recap, a little bit of a new thing I'm doing this season to recap what happened over the weekend, college football, NFL, and maybe when the NBA. We'll include the NBA when the NBA gets in the fold. But I'm excited, everybody. Football is upon us. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to see more of this. I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy football. More than anything, enjoy football. Enjoy football. You only have it for a certain amount of time. You only have a certain amount of football games left in your life, people. Go Bengals. Who Dey. I'm going 16-0 in picks this week, and we're having a hell of a season, people. See y'all Tuesday. Have a great night.